We light our chalice today with these words from Martha Kirby Capo. That which abides. Through the week this chalice abides, cupped and silent. Softly it gleams in a dimly lit room, complete unto itself. Today we come together as a community of faith, joyful and free. Our individual energies combine to spark the flame of truth. May we each draw strength for the other. And, like the chalice, may we be bathed in the fire of commitment to social justice, equity, and peace.
When Reverend Carla and I were first talking about this service, and we shared a little bit of this last week, we talked about how we wanted to have... Is there a problem with the thing? Oh, it's not turned on. It's turned on.
Is it on?
Are we on? Am I on?
I'm on.
I'm on, right? Okay. So, and we wanted each service each week to be like, not like, let's make it not like either of our services, but we wanted to have a time for all ages, and we wanted to talk about, I can hit down here. We wanted to talk about stuff that was pretty specifically Unitarian Universalist today. So we have a story, and we love this part about our heritage, about Transylvania. Now, at this time of year, what do you think of? What do you think of when you think of Transylvania?
Hotel Transylvania.
Hotel Transylvania. What do you think of?
I think of scary monsters.
Scary monsters, right? Yes, Randy. Halloween. Vampires, right? Right. Dracula. Yeah, Rue. And candy. All right, that's an association. That makes perfect sense to me. It all follows. And Carla and I, we didn't want to just read a story. So, did you know about our Transylvanian history?
I had no idea.
Yeah, so...
That in the hills of Transylvania, even there, the Unitarians were building the churches in the mountains.
Yes. So I
can do that too.
Yeah, that was great. Historically, it is a space where there have been a lot of Unitarians and still are to this day. But as Carla mentioned, would you be Carla and Jen while we're up here? This is fine, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
As Carla noted, what if there were people? So a long time ago, there were some people in a little village in the mountains of Transylvania, and they decided they wanted to build a Unitarian church. And so they cut stone and they cut wood, they cut trees down for wood, and the whole village worked together to build a church. Timber, yes.
Yeah, what else do we need? We know we need some timber. That will help us build it. What else do we need? Yeah, that's true, bricks, because it can get cold in the forest, don't we? We want good, thick walls. What else do we need to build a church? You're right. We want to let people in, don't we? What else might we need? Yep. We need mud or glue or nails or all kinds of things. Yeah. What else do we need?
Copper. Sometimes we do need copper. I'm not sure if they had it then.
That's true.
But yeah, you need a lot of things.
Piping in there.
Right.
That's true. How will we make it beautiful? Should we leave it just plain? I mean, if we got bricks and stuff, we could just leave it plain. No, y'all are ready to decorate. All right, how will we decorate it?
I think we should color the walls and paint them in different kinds of colors of the rainbow.
Ooh, bright colors. Okay, our church will have beautiful bright colors with rainbows.
Graffiti.
Ooh, I like it. We could do some cool tagging. There's some beautiful graffiti art that is out there. We could get spray cans. Okay, we'll take all the spray paint to Transylvania. What else will we do?
We could put chairs in here for people to sit in.
That's very welcoming. We'll make sure that we have plenty of chairs and good, comfy, squishy chairs. Or should we give them hard chairs?
Hard, spiky chairs.
Hard, spiky chairs. Oh, to keep people real, keep them real. Little hard, spiky chairs. Too far, too far. Okay, we'll have a few spiky chairs for folks that need to keep it real, and the rest can be soft and squishy. What else do we need? Oh, that's beautiful. We could have plants and vines growing up the walls, maybe some flowers growing. That would be wonderful. Go ahead.
So we could also put like carpets on the floor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If like it might be like if it doesn't like pull on the spiky
Those spiky chairs. We want soft carpet under our feet because of those spiky chairs. It all balances out.
That's right.
School chairs, school chairs.
we need orange bushes and a chalice.
Thorn bushes and a chalice. Rue, you are getting in the right direction because, so in this this is beautiful. Everything you all have described, bright colors, parts of nature, spiky chairs, soft chairs, school chairs, carpet. That all goes into making a place feel welcoming and maybe except the spiky chairs. But still, some people are going to like those spiky chairs, right? You know, need some reality. But we talk about the chalice, which we light as a symbol of our faith, but also when this story happened, this is based on a real thing, right? People didn't have electric lights when they first built it. So yeah, no, they didn't, right.
So they would use like they could try and light it up, but then they can also have another one to make a chalice.
Right. Yeah. Ruth can just tell the story. This is cool. Yeah, we can. So in the story is called "A Lamp in Every Corner," by the way, because when the village all worked together and they made their church and they had it painted with beautiful colors and they had carpet and they had spiky chairs and soft chairs, they had all the kinds of chairs and they had spaces for people to stand who liked to stand or lay on the ground who liked to lay on the ground, right, while they listened. But everybody went, and the person who was in charge of building said, okay, everybody go back to your houses in the village, but we're going to come back tonight to pray, to make this, to start off right with our new church. We're going to bless it. We're going to pray together here. But one little girl and her father stayed because they brought a picnic lunch, and so they decided to just eat up on the hillside near the church. And the little girl was curious, which we've already started talking about, how are we going to see all the beautiful colors and all the vines and all of the carpets and the spiky chairs?
If there's no light.
If there's no light.
We can use like candles and put like those things like kind of outside to the light. You can see the beautiful colors outside the door.
Candles, yep. Rue. Okay. Torches. Oil lamps.
We can, well, it would be really hard, but you need to collect the wax and then you can make it. Because I'm pretty sure there's not going to be like canvas buying wax.
Earwax will take a long time to make candles with. But still, if you don't have candles lying around, it's a whole village. That's a lot of earwax. But an oil lamp, now our chalice here is an alcohol lamp, and it's very similar. So what they did was, and the little girl asked her father the same question, how are we going to see all this beautiful stuff if we come back at night to pray together? And he told his daughter, every family brings a lamp to church, an oil-burning lamp, in fact. And when they march up the hillside, you'll see all the lights coming together to light the church. And then we'll hang them in the church. But when we leave, we will also take them with us. We'll take them away and use them in our own homes. And I didn't want to read most of this story because we've been having so much fun telling it together. But I do want to use, I do want to use one little part that was written down, right? And that is when that little girl is talking to her mother who brings the lamp from their home, the little girl asks, so Dad said that the light of the church comes from the people. And her mother said yes. But also, the people take their light from the church. Over on the table by the fireplace, this is when the family was back at home. They had gone home from praying together, and they had their oil lamp burning that had burned and lit the church so everyone could see. And we have that light with us in our home every day. Yes, indeed, said her mother. And even when we are not in church, even when the lamp is not lit, we carry the light of truth in our minds and the flame of love in our hearts to show us the right way to be. That light, the light from truth and love, will never go out. So I want you all today, when you go off to go to classes and be outside, I think we're going to be outside a little bit today. It's nice. Think about that beautiful church you described, with its beautiful colors and its vines and its spiky chairs and its soft cushions and its carpet. And also think about the ways we light up a room and how you can light up a room. Yes, Ruth? You want to tell a joke? Oh, yes. That is a great way to light up a room. Sorry.
It's kind of like an idiom.
No, idiom. A joke is a way to light up a room, yes. Hold on, saw this hand first. Yes.
How can we light up a room?
No.
Oh, we're gonna tell jokes. Okay. Who's there? Chicken who?
Chicken do ballerina.
Chicken do ballerina. Yes, lights up a room. And we had a joke over here. We had a joke over here. Yes. Where do rainbows go when they break the law?
Prism.
Yes. And it gives them time to refract. Okay. We already had. You told us about jokes. Do you want to send us out on a joke, and then we're going to go out? Okay. Oh, got it all together. Why did the moon man cross the ocean to get to the other tide?
Mermaid.
Mermaid. I heard it wrong. I apologize. Still, that's great. Okay, we have lit up this room. Thank you. And now we will sing our kids out to class. It does. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Woo! Our reading this morning is A Complex Movement by Adrienne Marie Brown. Over and over again, it becomes known the peace we seek is seeking us. The joy, a full bud, awaiting our attention, justice in our hands, longing to be practiced, the whole world learning from within. This thrilling mote in the universe, laboratory, labyrinth. Internalize demands. You are the one you are waiting for. Externalize love. Bind us together into a greater self, a complex movement, a generative abundance, an embodied evolution. Learn to be here. Critique is a seductress. Her door is always open. So what if you get some? We are going further. Past reform to wonder. This requires comprehension that cannot fit in words. Out beyond our children, beyond the end of time, there is a ceaseless cycle, a fractal of sublime. And we come to create it, to soil our hands and faces, loving and loving and loving ourselves and all our places.
I am in the vibe. I can't hold it back. But that was in our reading, was it not? Learn to be here. Critique is a seductress. That reached out and grabbed me, just grabbed me up. Because we are so good at that often, are we not? Ourselves, our surrounding community, the quality of our song, the quality of our work, the amount of production that we can pack into every day, the amount of exhaustion that we can push through, the amount of outrageous accomplishment that no matter how much there is, we will never quite be the person that our parents told us it was our potential to be if we would just live up to it. And yet, there is so much joy in the here, in the now, that if I could just stop worrying about all the things that needed to be fixed, that needed to be repaired, that needed to be done better in the outside world, perhaps I could not only enjoy this now, but also receive the healing in it, to go forth and do that work. And as we've been focusing on what is our call to justice, our faith-based call to justice, over these 2 weeks together, the main impetus in bringing together these two congregations is recognizing that there are two groups of people who are absolutely passionate about many of the very same things, in the very same space, in the very same city, that have different skills, resources, ideas, and connections. And what a wonder it could be if we could find ways that our work overlaps, that our learning could be shared, that our resources could be pooled, because what 20 people can show up and do, 40 people can show up and do even better. And it is not because we're not good enough, we're not inspired enough, we're not strong and tough enough. It's just because when we work in unity, we have the ability to heal even more of the world. We don't perhaps have to do more. What we have to do is less alone. And so as this poem washed over me, as I let these words wash over me, saying, what is the difference for me between trying to do more and trying to do less by myself? It changed a great deal about the way that I do the work of justice in the world and the way that I care for myself to do the work of justice. And there's another line that gave me inspiration in how I might try that this week. If we want to go further, we must go past reform to wonder. Past reform to wonder. Why? Well, to reform is to focus on all of the things that are wrong. It is to lean into the critique of that which needs to be better, to give energy, time, and focus to all the things that are causing us discomfort, struggle, or challenge. And not that we don't need an awareness of those things, but how often is that what we center in? All the stuff that we didn't do well enough, that we're not happy about enough in ourselves and in the world, instead of what inspires us to wonder, what inspires us to joy, what would success and power and beauty and healing and wholeness actually look like in our world, in our communities, in our households, in ourselves. How much of our work for freedom do we spend dreaming? And I realized I don't spend nearly enough time dreaming. And that sometimes my Sunday mornings are one of the few times that I actually get to experience what sacred community, what healing and wholeness, what unity and cooperation can look like. If there is no place in our daily lives to dream, this should be that place. So what does it mean to leave our critique at the doorstep of the church? to build a congregation out of rainbows and squishy chairs, open doors and comfortable rugs to keep the cold away, so that we can take the light that we bring in, that grows stronger in the shelter of this space, and carry it forth into the world. There's a part of that story that we didn't share because we had to make space for knock-knock jokes, important things. That the little girl Zora says, but what if there's not enough lamps? You said that this lamp comes to me when my parents pass on. Well, if I pass it on to my children, what if I have more than one? And she was wrapped in anxiety, but there's not enough. There's never enough. What if we don't have enough resources? What if there's too much darkness? What if there's too much shadow in the world? What do we do? And she immediately went to the place of critique, the place of anxiety, the place of weariness. And her mother simply looked at her and said, Zora, make more lamps. I'm not saying the solutions are easy, but I am saying they are present. And that when we dare to dream of what can be, when we picture a world filled with the glowing illumination of many lights, instead of cursing the darkness, that often the solutions will come. So my message today is simple. I invite you this week to commit to dreaming at least a little bit of time. What does the healing and the wholeness look like in your life, in your home with your family, in the community surrounding you? And give your energy there, to the wholeness, to the healedness. Dream that, and then go towards that being made real. Critique will be there next week, I promise. You can pick it back up if you need. But just for a few days, commit to the dream.
Learn to be here. Critique is a seductress. Her door is always open. So what if you get some? We are going further, past reform to wonder. This requires comprehension that cannot fit in words. I'm glad we picked the same part of the poem that really leapt out at us, right? So I wonder how many of y'all here, and you can speak up on Zoom if you'd like to, how many of you have what you consider to be a personal, daily, or aspirationally daily spiritual practice? Show of hands if you have, you try some sort of a personal spiritual practice you try to engage in on the regular. Okay. What does that look like? I'll take a couple, like you can just shout out, what does that look like? Is it prayer? Is it meditation? Is it yoga? What does it look like? Meditation. More meditation. Prayer. Walking. Reading. That was two at the same time, but this one. Reading, walking, quiet times. Direct messaging. Reaching out to others. My coffee, honestly, I have a coffee grinder and a French press. I turned into a coffee snob during the pandemic, I guess. And now that's part of my daily ritual. I also pray and meditate. But it's like, but coffee helps. So all of these things, prayer, meditation, journaling, movement practices like walking, communication practices like direct messaging, practices of silence and of song, practices that ground us in the earth where we are, that guide our thoughts to a future that could be. We are here this morning again to speak of justice. We have seen firsthand the work of justice in a hurting world, and we are shown again and again the places where justice is lacking, where the hurt feels as though it is growing in ways that we cannot understand or name, and if we try to speak on it or reflect on it, we may even fear critique. That's seductress. We may fear backlash. We may fear anger. We may fear being wrong. I name that one because it's a big one for me, especially as someone who has chosen to take up work in this world that asks of me public witness. In September of 2018, I was still living in the Maryland suburbs of Washington, D.C., which was my home for 50 years before I moved to York. I saw a call on a local clergy group for anyone willing and able to come downtown during the confirmation hearings for now Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh to provide an open and supportive clergy presence for the activists as they went to lobby in the offices of decision makers. Now, at that time, I was still in seminary, a candidate for ordination, but not yet ordained. In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, stoles are generally reserved as the symbol of ordained clergy, but in acts of public witness, candidates for ordination are encouraged to wear clerical collars and other identifying clothing. So just that summer, I had bought my first clerical collar, and now I prepared to wear it in public for the first time. And I had no idea what to expect. I was still taking classes. Nobody proved me to do this. I could just buy a shirt. Could anyone just buy a shirt? But I felt so highly nervous taking the metro downtown. But when I arrived at the Hart Senate office building, I found other clergy there in support, some that I knew and many more that I didn't. And it was so powerful to be there and hear the witness of my colleagues and to lead prayer in that space. The most powerful thing that I did that day was listen. There were activists there who had been exhausting themselves, revisiting their own trauma, staying in the places that allowed them to speak truth to power even from throats parched with crying, hoarse from chanting for change. One young woman in particular sought me out during a time of prayer, saying she felt safer with me. And before I left the action that day, I sought out that same young woman and sat with her a while, letting her share her fears and shed her tears. What a thing to share. What a thing to be trusted with. Externalize love. Bind us together into a greater self, a complex movement, a generative abundance, an embodied evolution. Justice, beloveds, is not just external work. It is deeply personal, spiritual work. But we know, although it is personal, it is not solitary. All those practices we named, they are fuel for the journey. We take the time to pray, to meditate, to fill our cups so that we have more to give, to cultivate a generous, imaginative spirit that is willing not just to challenge what is, but to dare to dream what is to be. Unitarian Universalism professes no one single creed. Instead, we ask of those gathered together in our faith communities to consider those things of greatest worth and to work together to grow and cultivate them. Internally, right now, the Unitarian Universalist Association is doing a lot of work on bylaws. But what that means practically is that we are inviting ourselves to stretch our imaginations, to consider the work we do in our communities and in the larger world, and to recommit to our central values, which we name as justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity, and all those centered on that which is at the heart of all love. When we cultivate active love in the world, it means more than praying by ourselves. It means praying together. It means joining together on our spiritual journeys to make meaning together, to hold one another joyfully and lovingly accountable. If we do not all profess one single creed, we must focus on relationships and covenant, saying we do not do this alone. We don't do any of this alone. It is an act of wondering imagination and of faith to show up again and again. Over and over again, it becomes known the peace we seek is seeking us. The joy, a full bud awaiting our attention, justice in our hands, longing to be practiced. The whole world learning from within. If we cultivate our joy and fill our cups deeply within our spiritual communities with our soul companions, we find that deep peace. We talked last week about the peace which surpasses understanding. We look at the justice within our hands and we find we have the strength to practice it. We learn from within, take our learning into the world. We make more lamps. And because I cannot ever resist poetry, and I did have to really forcibly restrain myself from adding a second one, I'm going to end with a little piece of Marge Piercy's The Low Road. It goes on one at a time. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again and they said no. It starts when you say we and know who you mean, and each day you mean one more. I am so glad that we are here together. The we that we are creating grows more wide, more broad, more deep. Cultivate wonder within yourselves, beloveds, and gather together for the strength to make it real in this world. So may it be.
There we go.
Somebody's calling.
As we maintain the spirit of hush, join now in extinguishing our chalice and your chalices at home, if you have lit them, with these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.